Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to English with Aisha Siddiqui. Today we'll be doing the topic of Sonnet 29 by William Shakespeare. We have already done the poetry and we've understood the starting of it and the concept behind it. What are the emotions of the poet in the poetry? What are the two emotions that are in the poetry? And today we'll be moving forward with each and every line, discussing the emotions and the feelings, and also discussing the meanings. So, the most important thing in a poetry is actually also know the meanings, because we do not understand the meanings of the words, because the words are not direct words, it has a double meaning to it. That means it is showing something and it is not the word that it is. So, such as bootless, you can see in the poetry, you will find the word bootless, but bootless does not mean that you're not wearing a boot or you're not wearing a shoe. It actually means of no use. Bootless means bootless cry. That means no use of crying so much because there's no reply. So such words are really important. So we'll be seeing the meanings and also the question answers. So let's start, everyone. Okay. So we have already done this part, that is Sonnet 29. What is his work, why he's written, his emotions behind it, and all. And we read the poetry. I would like to again read this poetry for you all in a faster version, actually. And then we'll move forward to each and every line of the poetry. So let's start. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possess, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contended least. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, happily I think on thee. And then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising, from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love, remember, such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Okay, let's discuss without wasting any time. So, when in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes. What do you mean by that? Men's eyes. So, when I've fallen out of favor with fortune and men, that means he has nothing. No fortune means he does not have good luck with him. He is very unlucky. So, whatever he's writing now, it's written in his starting of the career. So, maybe he must have done his best and he must have written his best poetries, but it did not work out because maybe it was not the right time. So when I've fallen out of favor with fortune and men, even his fortune is not taking his side, and not the other people as well. So he has no friends, that shows, and there are no people supporting him, no family. So that's the thing he is feeling more depressed about. It brings back to the situation that is going on right now. Yes, people are really talented and they have great skills, but sometimes what happens that today in this situation when there's a virus and there is so much of lockdown now, I would say in the lockdown period, what happened, people with the greatest talents were sitting at home doing nothing, right? And people who other people, some people who are feeling depressed and feeling like, oh, I have nothing to do, I am not good at anything because this is not working out, that is not working out, my business is not working, or maybe I have no other work to do, what should I do? So so much of stress and depression. We should have just chilled, right? What do you mean by this? Because that was not the right time. Even though you all did your best, the results were not that good. Why? The results were not that good. The businesses of people were not working because the time was not right. And they were talented. People were good and talented, and they had everything. Still, at that time, it was not right for them. So sometimes the time is not good for you all to do something. Maybe you all are at your best, but that should not loosen your hope. So you should still have hope and courage that even though maybe this time it did not work, I will do it the next time. I'll do it the other time, but I will do it till it works out. So this should be actually the people, the spirit of people to work, right? So all alone I weep over my position as a social outcast. Now the second line says, I all alone weep my outcast state. Outcast state means my very bad state. He was in a bad condition, so he's almost alone and he's crying. And trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cry. Trouble deaf heaven. So, what do you mean by deaf heaven? Now, I said the poetry meanings are very important for poetries, right? Deaf heaven does not mean the heaven has a ear and he's not listening, right? So, deaf heaven actually means a God who does not respond to prayer or pleas. So he is actually also so upset that he started blaming that, oh, why is my answers, my prayers are not being heard. So that's why he's calling the heaven as deaf, because no answers, no replies are coming. But maybe God sitting up there, he must be saying, this is not the right time. When the time is right, I will give you that. Right? So sometimes we have to work hard and we have to keep on praying that let this happen or let this thing happen. I have done my best. Please help me, God. But sometimes it happens, it does not happen at that time, right? So we start blaming, oh, maybe I'm not a good person. That's why my prayers are not being heard or something like that. But it should not be the case. Maybe God is saying, right now I will not give you this thing, but wait a little more time, I will give you much better than this. What are you asking for? So the people who the things that you're asking for right now, maybe it's not the right time for you. Later on, maybe you'll get something much better, a much better person. Sometimes it happens, right? A person who has left you, a loved one who has left you, uh, but what happens? We start feeling depressed. Maybe there's something wrong in us, or God is not listening to us. Why is this happening? Why is this person not with me? Right? But this thing, God wants to show you, you have much more capability. Or maybe you are going to get much more person, much more good person in your life, better, better, better than him or her. Right? So wait for the right time. The things that you're asking me, you will get more than that. So sometimes it happens, but you should not lose hope, and you should keep on praying. And look upon myself and curse my fate. What does this line mean? I look on myself and cursing my fate. He starts cursing. Sometimes it happens, but you should not curse at all. You should be happy and satisfied at all time. Even though you'll have the least thing with you, at least you'll have, right? So you should appreciate whatever you have. So here he's actually cursing because he's thinking that he's not lucky. Maybe God has not given me this and that. So what else? Wishing me like to one more rich in hope. That means wish I were like who had more hope. So he's saying, so sometimes it happens, right? We are looking up to all the people, all the rich people, or the other people who are at the peak of their period. Maybe they must have gone through the same period that you're going through in their life, but you are thinking only of the best time, right? You should also look at the time where they must have been depressed just like you. So that doesn't mean that you should always be unsatisfied and start looking for people who have something more. If you will keep on looking out for people who have, this person has that car, I do not have, at least you have a bike. This person has a bike, I do not have, at least you have a cycle. Or sometimes if you don't even have a cycle, what do you say? Oh, that boy has a cycle, I do not have a cycle. You have legs, right? People do not even have legs. What will they complain about then? Right? So you should always appreciate what you have in your life. So you should not go and look out for people who have more than you. You should always look at the people who have less than you. Yes, if you want to look at people who have more than you, you should look at them and get encouraged that I will work hard no matter what, no matter how much time it takes. I will work hard and maybe I will succeed more than him. Right? So that is a healthy competition. That will not make you lose hope. That will make you work more harder. So in that case, yes, definitely you all can do that. But if you're looking at the person and getting depressed, then means that you're going in the wrong direction. So let's move ahead. Featured like him with friends possessed. And what do you mean by friends possessed here? Featured like him. Featured means even he wants to have friends like him, but he does not know whom he is looking at. Sometimes we look at all these film stars and actors and actresses, and we feel that wow, they have such a good company. They're staying here, and they have these friends and those friends. But maybe you have a better friend who will give he'll be at your side even though things turn bad. But maybe the person who has and you're admiring and the friends that you're admiring that he has, maybe they're partying, enjoying in his house, and later on they'll just leave him. So you do not know what is inside. So if you have a friend who stays with you at all times, good and bad, appreciate that person and actually keep them like a precious diamond. So and do not look at people and say that I want those friends. Maybe those friends that that person has are not good. So he starts feeling, the poet here is showing that he has started getting a feeling that he wants those friends that that person has, desiring this man's art and that man's scope. Art means maybe he's something talented. So sometimes you feel, no, some people are dancing and they're dancing so nicely and so flexible here and there, and they're doing all those things, and you start feeling like, oh my god, I I cannot dance at all. Why my body does not move? Why I cannot move in the way he moves? Right? My dear, maybe you are not meant for dancing, you're meant for singing. Or maybe you're meant for some sport activity, or maybe you're just meant for learning, studying, or you get good marks. So the person who gets good marks and he's good in his education does not mean that he has to be good at sports. Yes, you should go out for sports activity, even though you're not good, but does not mean that you can become a cricketer. Now, if Sachin Tendulkar's mother or his parents would have sent him to singing classes, and Lata Mangeshkar's parents must have sent her to a cricket academy or something, they would be nowhere around, right? Because they were not good in the thing they were doing. So, so we should not desire someone's talent or someone's art. Maybe they are good in that. You can be good in something else. You have to find out that what you are good in. And you should not see that how much scope that man is having, this man is having. Right? So with what I most enjoy contended least, that means this line actually shows that if you keep on desiring other people's talent or other people that he has this and that, you will not enjoy what you have. So this line is showing I did not, it did not even matter what I enjoyed, contented least. That means he did not care what he has and what he was enjoying in. He was enjoying in writing poetry, but he was looking at all other things. Maybe you enjoy in something else. Maybe you enjoy in cooking, right? And the person who enjoys cooking, he's just watching this person dancing and that person singing. But why are you admiring them? Yes, you can watch everyone and appreciate what they have. You can actually tell them you're very good at this, you're very good at that. But if you keep on looking and becoming depressed, you will not find and focus on yourself. If you're so busy looking out for others' talents and scopes and everything, you will not have time to focus on yourself. If you do not have time to focus on yourself, you will never know what you're good at. So, more than admiring other people, focus on yourself and remove from the depth of your talents which thing or which talent you are best at. So that line is really good. You should really focus on this line, that if I look at this man and this person and that person, I will not enjoy what I have. So yet in these thoughts myself almost despising. So he's saying that I'm all thinking about this and that, and therefore I am almost despising. I am just on my lowest, on my worst time, and I'm very disappointed and sad. Happily, I think on thee and then my state. Happily means by chance. So just thinking about so much of tension he's taking, this person has that and this, and he's getting depressed, so much depression. So suddenly, happily means out of a sudden, he starts thinking about something else. What he's thinking about. Happily, I think on thee, and then my state. I think of thee. Now, thee here means about someone. Let's see who's the someone here. Happily, I think on thee. But with these thoughts almost despising myself, I by chance think of you. Now, thee means you. And then my, what do you think at? His good fortune. Now, suddenly he's thinking, wow, I'm so lucky. How? How so sudden when he was thinking that I have no good fortune and I don't have this and that, and suddenly he started feeling so happy and so loved, and that he has so much. Like to the lark at break of day arising, like the lark at the break of day rises. What do you mean by lark here? Now, lark is a bird which sings very sweetly and is known to fly very high in the sky. So he is thinking, he is just feeling like this bird that he's just flying. We say na, बहुत हवा में उड़ रहे हो. That means today you're very happy. It's like what we've done. Uh, yeah, so it is actually what we've done, what we say. It's like a thought or a quote that today you're very happy, right? That means what hawa mein you're too much happy. So suddenly he compares himself to a lark, that means a bird that is flying in the air. From sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. That means from the dark earth sings hymns to heaven. So even though he's at the darkest stage, he's actually singing to the heaven. So from thy sweet, sweet love remembered, such wealth brings. For thinking of your love. So he's talking and he started thinking about the love of the person he has in his life. Now, this love of the person is not given who he or she is, right? Now, a loved person he can be loved by anyone. You can be loved by your parents, so appreciate them. You can be loved by your siblings, appreciate them. You can be loved by your friends, or maybe you can be loved by your spouse, your children. So appreciate them. Does not this love, your love does not mean only a love of a girl and a boy or the romantic type of love. It can be love of any relation. So that's why it's not mentioned what type of love or which person. So he's just thinking about some love who he has in his life. So for thinking of your love brings such happiness, so much of happiness it brings to him when he remembers about that love. That then I scorn to change my state with kings. That then I would not change my position in the life with a king. So that what you're thinking, how can it change you? So if you think positively, everything positive will be in your life. If you think negative, if you keep on thinking negative, that person has this, I want that, I'm so unhappy, I do not have this, I do not have that, I do not have so much of clothes, this person is wearing this and that. So so many things, right? So if you keep on thinking that, you will never ever be happy. And if you think whatever I have, my god, it's the best, it's the best, I'll be the best. So if you think like that, you will not really want to change your position. Like in this poetry, the poet does not want to change his state with the king, because maybe the love that he has in his life, the king might be not having, right? So do not admire wrong people, or do not admire the wrong thing in the people. So you can admire people, there can be idols in your life that and I just love this person and the way he works and all. Yeah, you can love a person, you can love the way he works, you can work harder than that person, but do not admire the he has this and that and I do not have. right? So this is the only purpose of this, of the poetry, where the poet wants to share uh, that you have to be satisfied with what you have. So I hope you all understood the poetry and the meaning of the poetry. We have completed the whole poetry. In the next video, we'll be doing the question answers from this. It's really important to know the question answers, as you will know, now you understood the meaning of the poetry, but how will you put them into the answer form? How can the poetry be answered, right? Put in an answer. You cannot put the same poetry lines in the answer. So how will you frame it into an answer? It's really important. For that, you all can watch my next video that will be in question answers. If you like this video and understood the poetry, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You will find more videos on the channel on English literature, optional English, first year BA, and even common people who are not in the first year, bachelors of arts, and just want to learn English. There are more of grammar videos as well, wherein the common grammar is taught, and you will learn a great deal out of it. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.